Is the housing market finally cooling down? Is all this insanity with multiple offers, $1 million over list price coming to an end? We're talking about that right now. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Muoki here. I'm a realtor in Leesburg, Virginia, here to give it to you real, raw, and always abiding by fair housing laws. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. We're so glad to have you. If you've been here before, go ahead and get your popcorn ready. We're going to get started in just 1 second. I want to remind you, your phone is your friend. So go ahead and get my information here in the description. Go ahead and get a hold of me any way you can. I got your back. Get your free home buyer pro kit in the description as well, and just be prepared. Great things, good things come to those who wait. Great things come to those who prepare. If you want to subscribe, join the team, more than welcome. We would love to have you on the team. Now, let's talk about this housing market. Is this slowing down? What is going on with the market in the middle of 2021? Now, as many of us know in the news, in our personal lives, in people that we know in their lives, the housing market is insane. You're seeing multiple offers, multiple offers coming in. You're seeing list prices going through the roof, double-digit appreciation, double-digit year, month over month increase in sales price. This kind of growth is incredible, but it's not sustainable. So the question becomes, how is it going to cool down, and when is it going to cool down? Now, one of the key factors that's creating this frenzy, particularly for buyers in, ironically, a market that has incredibly low inventory, is the mortgage rates. Even today, people are still able to get below 3% interest rates on 30-year loans. And so a sub 3% interest rate on a 30-year mortgage, that kind of fixed rate, that kind of mortgage payment over the course of time becomes a hedge against inflation, so that $1,800 today is not going to equal the same value as $1,800 in like 5 or 10 years. So that becomes something that, really you can lock yourself into a really good position in terms of moving forward. So people want to leverage that. And so a lot of highly qualified people, buyers, are entering into this market, are seeing an opportunity, even though the inventory is low. It's almost like the opportunity doesn't often knock twice. And so you always want to get it the first time. And so a lot of buyers want to leverage these low interest rates. Year over year, in the month of May 2021, saw an increase of 54% more new contracts written in May 2021 than in May 2020. The caveat to this, though, is that May 2020 is when the shutdown happened, when real estate and really all services and life in general was disrupted by stay-at-home orders and trying to contain COVID-19, when no one really knew what was going on or what was going to happen. And so these numbers need to be taken with a bit of a grain of salt. But all that to say, though, month over month, there have been more new contracts in the month of May written than in the month of April. And so these are the 5 factors right now to keep in mind as you're researching and watching the market for 2021 and moving into 2022. The first thing, kind of like a little bit like that jeans analogy, is that prices are not really going to go down. So that's something you just got to come to terms with, is that there's not going to be any kind of like sales or discounts on homes. So prices aren't really going to come down anytime soon, especially in Northern Virginia. The Northern Virginia market, whatever effects of like changes happen in real estate with regards to is a market transitioning from a seller's to a balance to a buyer's or anything like that, it takes a little bit of time for it to happen here, because we're insulated by a lot of different factors. And you can watch here on this video, which talks about, why, for example, Loudoun County. Why is Loudoun County so expensive? There's a lot of different reasons for that. You can watch that video here. So instead of the prices going down, what we're going to see is perhaps more options, more inventory. 2 or 3 months ago, there was less than a month's worth of inventory in the entire Northern Virginia MLS. Now, inventory's climbed to right about 1.5 months. We want to get to 3 months. Around 3 months is where you have kind of a stable seller's market. So it's climbing up. So that's what we're going to see. Instead of low prices, you'll have more options to choose from in terms of where you want to put an offer into. The second thing to keep in mind is that to watch is mortgage rates will continue to remain at least around 3%, going a little bit closer to 3.5, maybe a little bit into 4. Now, I'm not a lender, so you really want to talk to your lender and get the specific numbers on what's going on. But from what we see here on just the big picture, the mortgage rates are going to continue to juice the demand. They're going to continue to entice buyers to get into the market. So really what you want to do is you want to watch your financial health. I just did a video talking about how do you come up the things to consider when you're thinking about coming up with cash to how much money do you actually need to buy a home. So these are things you want to keep in mind. In order to leverage a low interest rate, you have to be qualified. You have to be very, very qualified. When you read, oh man, interest rates are at 2.75, they're assuming the most qualified buyer with a credit score that is high, with assets that are strong. So in order to leverage the low interest rates, you really want to make sure that your financial health is strong. The third thing to watch, which is really it's not something to look out for, it's just more of a clarification. There is no real bubble going on. This is not a repeat of 2008. There are a lot of different ways that is not the case. Two main reasons are, one, there aren't any homes on the market, right? The inventory is very low. Secondly, mortgage lending guidelines are really strict. When banks really went under in the 2006-2008 bubble, and so they want to make sure that does not happen again. And so guidelines, even for FHA, rose in 2020, coming 2019, going into 2020, now in 2021. And so those two factors, along with others, make it such that we're not really going to see a bubble as such. So you're not going to see like tons and tons and tons of foreclosures and all this, bank-owned properties and, deals, left, right, and center. You're not going to see anything like that. Today, a lot of homeowners have a lot of equity in their homes. The one caveat to this caveat is the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures that's coming up. When it comes to the Virginia market, we have different parameters. Every market has different parameters, and so for our Virginia market, even if we do see kind of an influx of foreclosures and other properties coming up from people defaulting on their loans, it's still gonna take a while to get from 1.4 months to something like 3 months and even above that. So we're not necessarily in a bubble. It takes a very qualified, a strong buyer to get into a home, and prices will remain steady for the next at least 2 to 3 years. And the fourth thing, which comes with looking at the future, how do people determine whether prices will slow down or go down? And again, it's determined by the mortgage interest rates. And so the rates are not going to decrease for a good while. It's still around 3% right now, so it's still going to continue to juice demand. How do you increase the inventory? That's the question that everybody's trying to figure out, and until that starts to see an upward trend over a period of time is when you can start seeing more of a stability coming on in the market. And the fifth thing to keep in mind, I feel like this whole video is about a bunch of caveats. 2021 is not a typical year. We are all kind of moving in this thing, really seeing something new. We've never kind of been a part of a pandemic to closing down, to shutting down, to opening up, and we don't know what exactly how this all plays out, because we've really not seen this before in the past. And so we're all learning and seeing as we go. And in real estate, as with a lot of particularly when it comes to money, we can't really predict the future. We look back and then, try and make better and stronger decisions, moving forward. So we're all kind of working this thing as best we know how, and with as many resources as possible. So those are the 5 factors to keep in mind when you're thinking about the market in general, and then also particularly in Northern Virginia. The one wild card in the market though has been condos. I did a video recently on condos and condo fees and kind of what is all of that. When markets go down or when markets see major shifts, condos are the property type that take the biggest hit. In this market, condos have actually been one of the properties that have seen an increase in demand and an increase in closing. And so the condo market is going to be an interesting opportunity to watch out for moving forward, particularly as more and more people are starting to realize the importance of having separation between life and work. And so professionals might be looking for options where they can be close or remain close to their workplaces so that they can do like a flex work or an actual 9 to 5, switching back and forth between home and work. And so this is something, it's not the only thing that's going to make a difference, but it is one thing that could. And so it's a property type to keep an eye on, particularly for those who want to get into the market for the first time as first-time homeowners. And so that's really all I got for y'all today. Don't forget to grab your free Homebuyer Pro Kit in the description before you get up out of here. If you want to subscribe and join the team, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Comment below if there's anything I missed or something that you see in the market that you want to talk about. It's been fun, people, as it always is. Thanks so much for hanging with me. From me to you, until next time, take care.